This is Chris, the Idaho Painter here on Paint Live TV. Today I got a really cool video for you, and that's using Breakaway or powder glaze on cabinets. It's a really cool effect. It's gonna make them look super amazing, so stay tuned for this video. All right, here we are. We got my setup sitting here right here. I'm gonna talk about the glaze I'm gonna be using today. It's a product from Brenner. This is 1338. It's a breakaway glaze. Water-based, dries really, really fast. I like this product. Great product to use. I'm gonna be using the Apollo Precision 5 HVLP sprayer today with a 7700 atomizer gun. So I'm gonna take off my cup, load it up. They have just throwaway liners right here. I do even clean my liners out. I don't throw them away after one use. They are reusable multiple times. I'm not gonna be testing viscosity. This is a very, very thin product. I know it's really thin. I'm not gonna have to thin it out at all. I just use a forward cut to get it into my PPS cup without making a big mess. You wanna make sure that you shake your glaze up really, really well. You can just take a forward cup like this, and I'm just gonna put my finger underneath, transfer it over here, just like this. I'll just put it in there. Release however much I'm going to be using. I'm just going to snap it on there. Make sure it's locked into place. Now I'm ready to go. I'm going to fire up my HVLP sprayer here, and we're going to get ready to spray. So let's go into the spray booth and get on with the spraying. All right, here I am in my spray booth getting ready to spray. Some of the things you need to know, if you haven't got a lot of experience with an HVLP sprayer or the Apollo Precision 5, you can dial in the pressure at the machine. Try to use the lowest pressure possible when you're spraying with their HVLP. Since I got my pressure control at the HVLP turbine over there, my air control knob, I never actually use that when using the atomizer 7700 gun. I always get it back all the way out, get it backed all the way out. I'm gonna start off spraying. I'm gonna turn my material off, so now it's not going to be any material flow. Then I'm going to turn my machine on. I'm going to start backing out my material and get the proper material flow. I'm going to turn on my sprayer, turn on my spray booth. Even though I'm inside the spray booth right now, you should wear a respirator. Because I'm teaching right now, I'm not wearing a respirator because I'm going to be doing some talking at the same time. Here I got the spray twirly from Paint Line. If you're accustomed to spraying your cabinet doors on a flat device like this, this is one method you can use it, and then you transfer it to a stacking rack. Paint Line has a stack rack that you can put it on, a 50 rack. So I've got my pressure all set right, got my gun set right, and this, you're not worried about getting a really fine finish. We're just worried about getting a nice coverage of our powder glaze or breakaway glaze on this cabinet. I'm going to be getting a full coverage on here and then sanding off what I want sanded off at the end. My pressure is all the way down to 4.5. Now here we go with the spraying. All right, here we are at our sanding table now. I'm ready to start sanding my breakaway glaze. I've got multiple doors that I did. I got one, this is about 5 minutes ago. You can see it is still wet. This one's done about 15 minutes ago. It's just about dry, as you can see right here. I'm going to show you how easy this stuff is to sand. I've got my sanding table right here. I really like using a light bar. I've got a light bar set up right here. This was a light bar that I made. So when you sand your breakaway glaze, you want a very fine sandpaper. I'm using EcoSilk Plus. I got a super fine and fine. You don't need anything, you don't want anything rougher than that. And see, and it just, you barely have to put any pressure and the glaze just starts coming off. And what I want to do is, on these cabinets, I just want some left in the cracks, some highlights in the cracks. It all just depends on what you want it to look like, the end result. Leave as much as you want or take off as much as you want to give you the desired result. I typically like to take, most of it off and just leave a little bit of highlights left, but that's where your creativity, as a cabinet refinisher, comes in. You can see I can do different effects. I can sand it in a circular motion. If I want, it'll create kind of a different effect. Once you decide how you've done it, you've got to be able to replicate that from door to door. Once you get one door done, you can have it set right next to you. so you can have an idea, you do a comparison as you're doing your glaze. So I can leave some right here in this side, this edge right here, and that gives it a really nice effect of that rounded edge. If you took off too much and you didn't like it, all you gotta do is just respray it and then resand it again. 15 minutes, my sprayer's still loaded up. I can reshoot it and it's no problem. I got my Unita EcoSand Series 2 vacuum right there. It's a HEPA vacuum, so I'm gonna vacuum this off, see where I stand right now if I wanna do any more sanding. I'm gonna show you, there's a couple options you can do when it comes to actually taking off your powder glaze, just rubbing or buffing it off. Here is a Scotch-Brite fine Brillo pad, so you can use something like this, or once again, this is a super fine or very fine sanding sponge, whatever works for you. You just don't want something rough that's gonna scratch your finish underneath. So Scotch-Brite pad is a little bit finer, slightly finer than what I was using. You can see if you scratch in certain directions, I'm gonna give you just an idea. If I go sideways, those scratches are gonna show up like that. So anyway, I'm pretty particular. I want all my scratches to go in the same direction when using this stuff. So I got two examples right here. Right when I get ready to spray them, I'm gonna set them in my spray booth. I'm gonna use my Apollo Precision 5, just the air spray nozzle, and I'm just gonna dust that thing off really good, spray it, and then I'm typically gonna spray one clear coat on it, then I'm gonna bring it over on my inspection table, see if there's any imperfections or anything that I need to sand one last time, and shoot a second top coat on it. But this one is looking really cool. It's got a nice, once again, like I say, nice metal finish look to it. So this is kind of like a dusty, dirty process. So you wanna make sure, wherever you're at sanding this stuff, that this stuff getting around, you're gonna be stepping in it possibly too, tracking it around, so just make sure that's not gonna be a problem wherever you're at. I'm gonna vacuum this off and think we'll be ready to shoot our clear coat. Okay, I got my gun all set up, got my spray pattern set up, I've been testing it in here. I think I'm ready to shoot this door. One thing, when I was doing my sanding again, went off to lunch, came back, forgot to put on my gloves. When you're doing the sanding of the powder glaze, that stuff's gonna get all over your hands. It is kind of messy, so it's a good thing to always wear your gloves. And then after I do the sanding, I switch out gloves and put clean gloves on to start handling my gun with. Once I've sprayed this thing off, I've dusted it all off. If I don't like it, what it looks like here, and I want to do a little bit more buffing and getting some more powder glaze off, I would send it out. If I'm working with a crew, send it out with the guys and say, hey, fix this or fix that. But I'm ready to go. Once again, it's just a sample. I'm in here talking, teaching, I'm not wearing a respirator. Make sure you wear a respirator even when you're inside of a spray booth spraying, but I'm trying to teach at the same time. I'm only doing one door. I'm not doing a full set of kitchen cabinets at this point in time. Otherwise, I would be wearing a charcoal respirator. So I got my first coat on the door itself. I did do a third pass on the door, so typically I'm going to spray it one direction, then I'm going to cross hatch it and spray it the next direction. Once I looked at it, it looked a little bit dry on one side, so I adjusted my material flow up just a little bit because it wasn't enough material wasn't coming out for the speed I like to spray. So I adjusted that, and now it's just right. I'm going to set this one aside. I'm going to show you spraying one hanging up now on the PSDR rack. We typically never spray our cabinets laying down because we're always spraying both sides at one time. It makes the cabinet painting process significantly faster when you get comfortable doing them hanging. I'm not going to do anything with the backside. I'm just going to clear coat it just so you can see it, but it typically would be finished both sides with powder glaze if we were doing the powder glaze. I'm extremely confident spraying it up, not going to get any runs. Been doing it for a while, but the render coatings hang really, really well. I've really tried hard to get them to actually run and see how much it takes to get on the run. It's actually pretty difficult to get this stuff to run. I would like right now that I got it here, sitting here in this light, I'm not too happy with what was taken off right here. I'd probably send that back and have that buffed out a little bit because they've got some scratches going crosswise, but everything else, I like kind of some of these imperfections and stuff like that, kind of gives it that aged antique look. But let's get on to spraying. This is a 5-sided disposable leak-proof spray booth. And that means the floor's got plastic down here. I've also put down a cardboard sheeting on top of that. But if my cardboard sheeting leaked, there's plastic underneath, so you're not gonna damage your flooring. It's a disposable spray booth, so once I'm done with this thing, I'm just gonna take it, wad it up, throw it with all the rest of my stuff in the trash, and I'm done and ready to go to the next job site. You do, when you're dealing with, this is a white, you have to be very, very particular about your sanding marks or your sanding strokes on it, or fingerprints or imperfections. So this was a fingerprint, I just left it on there, wanted to show you that these things are actually going to show up in the end result once you clear coat it. So if you see stuff like that when you're in here getting ready to spray, send that back out to make sure that that is buffed out. I had the pressure on the Precision 5, it was dialed in right at 4.7 PSI, extremely low pressure. The lower the pressure, the less overspray you're going to have. So try to dial that pressure down, to a lower pressure so you don't have a lot of overspray. But then you also want to get a really nice finish. This redder coating gels out and looks absolutely amazing. When it's going on, it's kind of interesting because it does look a little bit orange peely, but believe me, just let it settle, give it 15 minutes, and it'll look like glass. So there you have it, some simple tips and tricks using Breakaway or powder glaze to make your cabinets look really amazing. If you're interested in any of the tools or the accessories and stuff we're using in this video or any of my videos, always check out the video description below where you'll find them. If you've ever used this product or you got any questions about painting cabinets or using these glazes or doing undercoats or top coats, leave them in the comment section below. I'm going to try to answer all the questions and comments here on this video. So leave them down if you've got any tips or tricks to help me out or help anybody else out that's watching this video. Hey, just share them right down below. We would really appreciate it. And once again, like we always say, hey, if you want to see us on the next video or watch one of our next videos for free, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you'll get notified next time I do a next video. A next video or another video? Out.